Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Thanks for hanging with us here on Adobe Live. It's great to have you here. Great to see you. Good to see so many people sticking around in the chat. Moderator Voodoo Val, thanks for keeping everyone clean over there. Fantastic. And Robert hanging out. Umacorn, good to see you. And Frank, what's going on? If you're hanging out with us in the chat, let us know. Let us know who you are, where you're from. We want to see you. If you're watching this on YouTube, we love it. But come and hang out with us here on behance.net/Adobe Live. We want to see you in the chat, especially because you are not going to want to miss this. You want to bring your questions for our guest today. Creative powerhouse known around the world, Elise Swopes. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
Oh, I'm quite well. You know, we're bringing in sort of the end, towards the end of the streaming day here. For people who enjoyed Andrew, give it up for Andrew's new hairstyle.
Woo!
Wonderful. He's serving some good late 90s vibes. We're loving it. And of course, he always keeps it modern. But what we are doing here, we're going to be talking a little bit about, what is it? We're going to be getting into Premiere. We're going to be maybe touching some Photoshop. You've got a Webby nominated series that we're going to be talking through. I'm excited to see some of these techniques. I work a lot in After Effects, so I'm excited to see how far you stretch, how much magic you can get out of Premiere. I think just a couple housekeeping items. I'm just going to say, you know, if you're coming in at the end of the day, our day around here actually starts at 9 a.m. Pacific time. That's when Howard kicks things off with a Photoshop creative challenge. If you want to push yourself, get on board with our creative challenges. We've got a bunch of them going on here every day, so please come around for that. But without further ado, Elise, for those who don't know you, please, I mean, you've worked with some of the top brands in the world globally. If someone is an art director, they've probably pinned your stuff to a board saying this is the vibe we're interested in. You've been active, you've been part of an early adopter on social media, Instagram, putting out your blend of magical realism, your surreal artworks. For those who may not know about you, what should people know, and what are we going to be doing today?
Oh my God, I love your energy. Like, this is fantastic. Thank you.
It's my job. I'm here to hype people up, make them feel good.
You're the best hype man. If you could just be by my side, whatever, all the time, just to intro me to people. I don't have to say my name. It's just you there telling them who I am.
Yeah, I can't believe the job of a crier has gone out of service. Show up with a trumpet.
But thank you, Evan. I really appreciate it. I'm really glad to be here. I've been on Adobe Live quite a bit, but you know, each time I feel like I'm trying to bring something a little fresh. But for those who do not know me, I mean, you gave such a wonderful intro. But I am, a powerhouse, so to speak, just because I do a lot of my own graphics, my own photography, my own video, my own illustrations, my own social content production overall. And so today I'm really glad to be speaking with you all and to be just showing you the behind the scenes of the Webby nominated Marriott project that I put together. But first, this is a little bit of my website that I put together. It's just a collection of all the things about me. So if you ever want to learn a little bit more about me, you can always go to swopes.info. I also have a bunch of information about the NFTs that I've been selling. I don't know if anyone's been hearing about this crypto art NFT craze right now. If you're on Twitter, I'm sure you've been seeing everything that's been going on. But luckily, I got in early this year and have been one of the top selling NFT artists on Super Rare. And then I just was talking to Evan about this collaboration that I had with a giraffe conservation in Kenya with Nifty Gateway, which is another NFT platform. And so I donated 1% of sales and did an interview with them. And hopefully I get to go to Kenya to meet them in person and see the giraffes as well, because I've never seen them in somewhere other than a zoo. So that would be cool. But yeah, I'm kind of all over the place, and I love the internet, and I love creating social content. I am trying to figure out how to go to my website here, but I'm just gonna, here, I'll just do it like that.
And of course, people in the chat, if they have any questions about any of this stuff, any of these acronyms we're throwing around, get them at us.
Yeah, please.
So many of our friends coming and hanging out. I love to see Bruce, Robert. We got here we go. We got Reverb Mike is in the house as usual. But anyone in the chat, please bring us your quandaries. We have a true expert here. So
NFTs can be anything. I mean, a lot of people are like, what is an NFT? It's a non-fungible token, crypto art kind of derivative. And I do like the iPhone side. So I shoot and edit all with my iPhone and create these moving like pieces of art with just my phone. And this one sold for $47,000 in May. So that's pretty serious. I don't know. So this is stuff is breaking ground and it's kind of crazy, but I also still like, no matter what success I have on the NFT side, I still love creating content. I still love traveling. I still love editing with video. Video actually is something fairly new to me in the last couple years. I actually, maybe some people have seen this video that I did for Premiere Pro, where I am just roaming the city and playing with color quite a bit. One of my bigger projects, because it's been an ad in a lot of YouTube videos and on people's Instagrams and in their stories and stuff like that. And my family's been sending me screenshots. Friends from high school has been sending me screenshots. And I think that's why I love doing these Adobe Lives with Premiere Pro, because I think it's a good reminder that even if you don't really know what's going on in the program, just jump in and try new stuff all the time and see how it will work. That's the only reason why I know anything. So that's what we're going to be doing today and tomorrow, is just trying.
I love it. So yeah, specifically diving into Premiere. So let's
absolutely
get into it.
Yeah, please. So we're going into Premiere. And first and foremost, I'm actually going to go into my docs here, because I've got all my files ready to go. Now I need to open a new project, which I like to do because I want to have a whole new import media to start over here. You'll notice that at first when I open this, there's like a bunch of sequences here. The only reason why I have those sequences is because in case I forgot what I did when I first edited this, so that I could kind of reference those. And there's some pieces missing and some different stuff going on. But when I opened it, it had all the different videos in here. And when I imported all these videos, I actually imported like every single video that I had, which was like hundreds. So instead of doing that with you guys and going through hundreds of random videos and cutting them up and taking up the 2 hours of cutting them, I've prepared all the videos. So just to show you, I would normally have my card and I would like slip it into my computer. I'd have all my files here, and then I just start a new project. I've got here, drag them all in here to import so I can reference them and preview them.
And before
I want to drag them in.
Before we get too in the weeds, I would love it if we could just quickly preview kind of.
Yeah, we should.
Because
of course.
This is nominated for a Webby Awards. People are not aware. The Webbies are one of the few awards shows that I respect on the internet. So this is they're fantastic. They have a lot of great like emerging categories and are very current with things. But tell me a little bit about this kind of campaign. I would love to know maybe how something like this even starts, like how you were kind of approached about it, and then what your process was maybe leading into it, because you've done some very creative work in here, and I would love to know kind of what is the genesis of this kind of thing.
Thanks. Yeah, I was ready to dive right into the editing and people are like, what is she doing? What is she creating? I'm like, all right, we're just creating. But thanks, reeling me back in. So this project is one of the most, I think, grueling projects for me, because when I got reached out to by an agency that represents Marriott, they had a long list of to-dos, a long list of things that I needed to accomplish. And a lot of those things were like eating breakfast or going to the pool or exploring the room or doing certain things that really promoted the Marriott hotel and the experience. And so I did a lot of studying at first on what points to hit. And obviously I can't really tell what to do exactly if I'm in Madrid and I can't really scout locations. And so I think a lot of this project was kind of just like prepare as much as you can, and then when you get there, figure it out. And so a lot of these shots actually I shot of myself. I just set up a tripod and I just had to record just the way that I wanted the visual to be. I have a vision sometimes of how I expect it in like a movie scene in my head. And then I also, the nice part is my boyfriend, he's also a photographer. People know who he is. He's Trash Hand on Instagram. He's wonderfully talented, and he shoots for like Nike and just shot like the Olympic skateboarders, which was pretty amazing. And he's one of my favorite photographers and creatives in this world. And he luckily helps and comes with me on a lot of these projects. And so, he's not really a videographer, but we both learn together. And sometimes when I have an idea in mind, he thinks of a better way to shoot it. But sometimes it's really difficult for me to explain like what I'm trying to accomplish. And so I'll just be like, it's fine, I'll figure it out, I'll shoot it myself. And then I just set up the camera. So there's a lot that I'm learning about that, where obviously at some point I'm not going to be able to shoot all of my content for the rest of my life, but I I still really enjoy seeing it in my mind and being able to set up the camera and get on the other side, press record, and just be able to kind of live out what I'm trying to accomplish. But yeah, the video is in promotion of a Marriott hotel. And I really just wanted to make sure that, like I said, I was telling the story of being there and just also having fun with different frames and different cuts. And you can't hear the sound right now, but I'm about to play it for you. When I go into this pool area, the sound changes a little bit.
Very atmospheric. Underwater.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I like to play with like matching of different sounds, matching of different perspectives, matching. I mean, it was pretty risky of me to put like a clip of me in the shower, but at the same time, I wanted to show how like, the showers are and how clean it is. And just everyone enjoys like a hotel shower sometimes when it's really nice. And I wanted to connect the pool water to that shower water and show also like, when you're in a pool, you always want to shower afterwards. So I didn't want anyone to think that I was going to eat dinner, but not, getting ready and using what the hotel had. So those are a lot of like things that I go in thinking when I'm putting the video together that may not be thought of in other places, but it's something that I try to think about a lot.
Perfect. Well, I had a question. So this isn't filmed on a camera, is it? Because you were saying, and we've got a question in the chat about is everything on your Instagram, is that all done in camera? That's from Manuel is asking. And was this filmed on a camera? No.
Yeah, this is filmed on a camera. I mean, is the question between my phone or, I see. Okay. Cause that makes sense. Yeah, this is, well, actually some of it might be on my phone, but this was shot on camera just because some clients I'll ask like right away, like, okay, what kind of look do you want? And then they'll say, we want it to be shot with a DSLR. And then that's something that I'll kind of have to do. But with certain projects, like recently, I'll ask people, I'm like, hey, do you mind if I shoot with my iPhone? And they're like, sure, that's great. So it really depends on the project. But with this one, I had to shoot with a DSLR, which wasn't an issue, but I'd learned a lot of things about lighting and matching frames and that kind of stuff. Because at this, I think it's right here, you'll notice that there's like a scene here where the lighting in this winery is like kind of flickering a little bit. And we did everything we could to like match the frames per second on the camera to the lighting, but the lighting was so unique. It had like 3 different types in there that it would just flicker all the time, no matter how you shot it, or no matter how like you, I don't know, like tried to slow it down or speed it up or whatever. So that was definitely a learning lesson for me.
Absolutely. And Ann Nagel is asking, do you remember specifically what you were shooting on? Which camera? This
was probably a Canon 5D Mark IV. I'm gonna say that. I think it was a Mark IV. If that's what a can, I think that's what it is.
Yeah, it's one of those nice chunky.
One of those things, yeah. Because I mean, I think it was one of my first cameras that I got. I had been shooting with my iPhone for so long, and this was one of my bigger projects where I learned quite a bit about how to set up a lot of settings. And then another video that we're gonna look at as well was this one. I had a lot of fun with. There's some quirky music on top of it, but we might choose our own today. But this was a fun one. The concept for this project, they gave me like a tagline was "Let your mind wander" or "Let your mind travel" or something like that. So I wanted to have fun with kind of the trippiness that certain locations would allow me to play with.
It's lovely. I really like, I'm a bit of an architecture nerd, so I'm loving all of this.
Oops, I just X'd out of it too quickly. That's what I do all the time. But yeah, I wanted to make sure that I was playing with the architecture, showing lines, also being an artist while also showing the hotel and having fun and playing with the tagline and doing something creative that you might not have seen before somewhere.
And so you mentioned that your process is kind of, you've got some ideas coming in and then you sort of make it up a lot on the spot. Logan Copley is asking, do you find that you have a lot of extra footage after you end up shooting? Like, are you just capturing getting so much stuff and then seeing what you make out of it?
That's funny you ask, because I'm actually much more of like I was saying, I prepare my locations way before I even get there. I know like what I'm trying to hit. If I've already been able to scout the location, I've like looked at it a couple days before I go shoot, make sure that no cars are going to be in the way and that no, I don't know, just a lot of preparation. So I shoot a lot of less scenes than when my boyfriend helps me shoot. He shoots like random B-roll of like things that I wouldn't expect that I would need, but sometimes I look back and I'm like, I'm really, really glad that we tried that and that we had that B-roll. But yeah, if I could have the less shots, the better. The less I have to scrub through, the less I have to kind of like be bugged with. But to be honest, I think having a lot of footage is not the worst thing at all. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because if so, my career sort of began in more of a news space where you would literally be like, oh, we got to get coverage because maybe someone's going to want to look at the penguin, and now we're going to want a medium shot of the penguin. We don't know, just cover it. So you'd literally be out there and just be like frantically capturing everything. Too stressful. I
know. Well, that's still, I mean, even when I'm traveling to these new locations, I definitely want to make sure that I'm capturing enough stuff and that I'm not missing it. Because when I get back home, I've traveled, 9, 10 hours or whatever, and I can't go back. I can't have someone really reshoot it for me. So I got to grab as much as possible. And yeah, having more is better, but sometimes not having, like, I don't know, there's like 10, 20 ones, 20 of them that I could be like, nah, that wasn't necessary. So they're like 4-second shots, or they're like two, or maybe they're like a minute long or something. And we're just like, because a lot of the shooting, I think, is a patience. You got to wait to the perfect moment. Like someone is either walking in the shot, or there's a sound going on, or I don't know, you got to ask the waiter to like do the move again or something. Like you'll notice in a few of these clips that like a waiter helps, and then there's a bartender that's in there as well. We had to ask like the pool guard to assist us with like some things. So yeah, and then there were some people who got in the pool like while we were shooting. We're just like, oh, like can't tell them to like get out because they're at the pool too. So we had to wait, for someone to get out of the pool so we could get these very specific shots. But yeah, that's the life.
Awesome. Well, we've got a pile of footage. How do we make use of it?
Yeah, we got a ton of footage. So the nice part is we've got all this great footage, and we definitely want to start off by just kind of scrubbing through everything. The concept for this video was to kind of go through a day in the life of me and my experience at the hotel, and maybe a little bit outside. Showcase the hotel, most importantly, because they had the pool, they had a restaurant, they had this really nice bar, and it was really in promotion of them, like I guess redoing their hotel or something like that. So I would definitely wanted to make a lot of these certain experiences the star. Now my first like idea for this was kind of funny because so what I'm doing right now, I'm just gonna go back really quick. So in my project here, I just right click this file right here and just started a new sequence from clip. But this sequence size I am actually not going to post in, so I'm just going to resize real quick. And if I can remember, horizontal, I think that's okay. Oof. My memory, it's the numbers sometimes. I'm like, I don't know what's going on here. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and flip this. Now we want to do the other way.
And this is what is this, Instagram vertical 4:3?
This is 4:5. I always post in 4:5 when I can do a video, because it just takes up more room on the on the timeline. Square is fine too, but if I could take up enough room to tell the story, I think that always suits me a little better than not. But other than that, I do 9:16 if I'm posting in story or something like that. But yeah, this is 4:5, which is 1080 by 1350, which I've got ingrained in my mind at this point. But
so for this choice, right? You tend to work in this frame format. Was there a time when you tested out other formats? How did you arrive at this? Because it's such a dominant part of your artwork.
Yeah, that's a very great question, because sometimes I do think that I need to think outside the box more of my 4:5, because especially when it comes to NFTs right now, because a lot of people have these 9:16 TVs or 9:16 like digital frames. And so I'm actually considering creating frames for my art, because a lot of my art is made 4:5, because I'm just so used to posting on Instagram that way and creating for Instagram over the last decade, versus like the square limitation that they had us in, because it's a lot of my old work is in squares. But right when they gave us that 4:5, I was like, yes, I could create a little bit more. So That was essentially why the 4x5 came into play, because I just felt that it was the best way to showcase my work in social media. Now, I really didn't post it in Twitter that much. I did, but it wasn't the essential place. Now, Twitter has a whole new update where you can show a full framed photo. I think it's a little bit bigger than 4x5. It might just be 4x5. I'm not sure, but they've lengthened it out from the initial I guess before Twitter would like crop the photos and make
I
it,
mostly
they
just
choose.
yeah.
What's that?
I mostly remember their cropping controversies.
Yeah, the crop is just always horrible, right? So they updated that recently, which I think was a really great idea. And so yeah, I guess the 4x5 was all Instagram's doing.
Well, it feels it's a lot to keep up with. Platforms are going to change. What you were doing before may become, a thing that the platform even no longer supports. Like
You know,
things things changing, but good on you for
yes.
changing with it. You ride those waves quite well. We do have a question here from Bruce,
Yeah, of
who's
course.
asking. They'd like to know, sort of, as we're diving into this project,
Mhm.
sort of what was a bit of the brief. He's interested in sort of what were some of their asks specific. I think we talked a little bit about this, but he's
Mhm.
asking, is this like a day in the life? What were their, as we go
Mm.
through it, what are their must-haves, and
Mhm.
how do you structure it?
Yeah,
Yes.
so they had a very specific need to follow the tagline, like "Let your mind travel," and kind of pull from that, which I am pretty much a surrealist at heart, so that wasn't a difficulty at all. I presented a bunch of ideas to them about different perspectives on how I can play with like multiple versions of me in the room, multiple versions of different perspectives on playing with the hotel in a surrealist way. And so they just liked a lot of those ideas and approved them. And there was someone at the hotel representing the agency, and she would check in every now and then on while we were shooting. But she was just so impressed by how quick we would get everything done, because I'm more of like a work really quick and get everything done type of person, and then chill afterwards. So I had my bullet point list of, shoot the room, get to the pool, do the library, do there was like some, gold star room or something like that. Like there were certain like membership areas that I needed to highlight, that I wanted to make sure I got there, got what I needed. And I would send them, all that entire list before I even went there for approval, and just to make sure I wasn't going there for no reason. And then yeah, I mean, there was like a couple weeks where I had time to edit the video down, and then I sent it their way, and they really didn't have many changes or updates, but when they did, they were pretty obvious. I was like, oh yeah, it's a great addition. For me, I'm always willing to work with whatever the brand wants to communicate, because it's a 50-50 situation. So when there is like a brief in certain projects, like with this one, I think there was like a PDF with maybe like like visual examples, keywords, paragraphs of like, the branding and what they're trying to communicate, the hotels, what the new spots were inside, the spots they wanted me to hit, stuff like that. And I really tried to work with that.
Good. And I see a bunch of questions coming in, but we must put some things on the timeline. Let's get
Yes, of
to it.
course. Absolutely. So, of course, I've got the timeline here now. I've realized that I love to edit without seeing any preview. I've made it difficult for myself plenty of times, but I'm just going to drag this up here so we can kind of see what we're working with. But first and foremost, I'm just going to mute this uh, time or this audio line here, because I don't even need it. It's going to be absolute chaos, because it's just either me telling my boyfriend to hit record, or it's just complete silence, and me hitting record and running to the spot to shoot myself. So the concept of the beginning of this video was kind of interesting because I wanted it to look like I was like blinking and like waking up, and I wanted it to look like a perspective of like me opening my eyes. Now, this first part I did not want in there, but they were adamant that it looked a little creepy or something, which I was like, that's fine. I completely understand from a different perspective. I'll accept that. But I wanted it to start off like completely black from my blink right here. And I wanted it to look like I woke up, I'm blinking my eyes, I'm in the room and I'm stretching and I'm blinking a little more, looking outside. It's a beautiful morning. I'm excited to start my day. So I'm starting my day, but first, I wanted to make sure that I had a little clip of me waking up. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut a bunch of these clips. Keep ripple deleting. I'll just cut. Do a little ripple delete. And then I'll go back to my project. And I've got a lot of these in order, thankfully.
Yeah, and I was going to ask you about that large bin of stuff. Perfect
Yeah.
segue to Chris Nolter's question here.
Of course.
Of course, first they say, thanks for being here. I thank you as well. And he asks, do you review, log, or like, are you using metadata? How do you keep all this stuff organized? What is your strategy for not getting lost in a big bin of stuff?
Oh, well, that's a really great question. Chris, I believe he said his name was.
Yeah.
So as you'll see, this is actually, I think maybe it's this one. Hopefully it'll come up. But this is one of the clips that we are going to review. Now, this is the original file that I had, and you'll notice that there's like missing pieces. And that's because when I first had this project, like I said, I was learning quite a bit about organizing files, how to save projects in Premiere even. There was a lot of times where I'd create sequences in different projects or with different file names, and I'd be so confused because you can open multiple projects at once. And so there was a lot of lessons for me. So I always made sure that I could see always see like the top of my screen, the name of like the files that I'm working with or the projects that I'm working with. And then also making sure that I'm not just saving to my downloads, and also like making sure I'm creating a folder within my external drive under projects, under project name, under like even more specific, like the video, and then put all the video files in there, or any of the PNGs or the JPEGs, or just any kind of like file or sound or whatever that I use in there, I try to put in that folder. Because as you can see, there was times when I created this that I think I was, and when we go over this, we'll see how I made this. Hopefully we'll have the time at the end of the second day, but I have to screenshot the background to make it still so that the rest of the different me's can kind of explore the space. And I just don't have that PNG wherever it is. I'm pretty sure it's in my downloads, but I've cleared my downloads like too many times since 2019. So
Let that be a lesson, everybody. Keep your stuff organized.
Keep your stuff organized. There's been plenty of times where I've done these Adobe lives, I'm telling you, when I've tried to like show old projects and I'm like, I just don't have the file. Just don't have it.
Yeah, well, that's the trouble. Like, you know, and as someone, you're creating for many brands throughout a year, you gotta keep it all together. And if people want to do like you do, they gotta get organized in their lives. It's important.
Absolutely. Okay, so I'm trying to drag this file into here. And I think it will let me. It doesn't say, it says it doesn't want to, but we're going to figure out why. Okay, we're just going to see this one in the beginning. Okay. and then go back to our project, drag it over. Yeah, it doesn't want to drag this file for some reason. Maybe we'll just skip on over it and try the next one because that don't make no sense. Yeah, we're still not sure why it's not letting me drag anything.
No layers are locked. Everything looks normal.
Right? I don't see any locked here. We're clicked here. Okay, boom. All right, let's see if this will work. Let's try one more. Grab it. Yeah, we did it. Shout out.
Producer Paco in our ears.
I know. He's like, do this, like very sweet. I was like, yes, magician in my ear.
Absolutely. One thing I'll say to everybody hanging out in the chat, Robert's got to go. Anyone, if you are coming in late, if you must go, this is going to be recorded for all time and all space on Behance. But also, if you're watching this on YouTube, we would like to see what you have to say. We'd love your questions. If you're watching us on YouTube, come over to behance.net/Adobe Live. We want to see you over here. Get on in the pool as we edit a little bit of time in a hotel here. A glorious, glamorous experience, if I do say. I would love to know, how did you do the blinking?
Yeah. So the blinking, now let me make sure I got my little cuts here. Let's zoom in a little bit. Now the blinking will be in between me waking up here, looking over. Okay, let's actually wake up here. I've got a vision. Looking out, looking over. Okay. Now the blinking is done. Let's cut this part here. And then let's drag this. Oh, see? Probably made it more difficult for myself. I think this is the first part. Okay, yeah. Okay, so that's where I'm gonna do my blink. I think this is two. So, okay, move this behind here. Connect these. All right. Now the blinking was made by, if my memory serves me correct, I created a color mat and I created it of black. Color. Okay. Now this is going to be here in my project tab. And I'm just going to drag it right over that clip. And you'll notice it's black right now, but if I do a little ellipse, let's do inverted. I think that was what I did. Let me make sure that this is what I did. Oh yeah, for sure. Okay. What did the blink look like? Let me see what it looked like.
Well, we'll do calming blinks right now. It's
oh yeah, this is I guess it was kind of like a square. So I really didn't do one like that. So let me restart this mask. Do a little square. You dig. I can just make this whole thing larger. Okay. Or maybe I can't. Still learning, y'all. Learning together. This is how we grow as a society.
Well, back in my day, we didn't have such masks in.
Back in my day,
had to be.
What's your experience with Premiere Pro?
Well, let's see. This would have been first time I was touching it. Would have been back in. Let's say it would have been CS3. I think would have been my first experience with it. We're lucky to have a media lab full of Adobe software. So, thank you, Adobe, for furnishing schools with Adobe softwares.
Yes.
And that was kind of the first times that I was ever, introduced to it. Now, this would have been at a time where most, like if you went into a TV station, they would be like they'd have like Avid in there. Final Cut had a lot of market presence, but
Oh yeah.
so my experience with Adobe stuff at that time was like, well, this is what you use if you want to stop playing, you want to do something for real.
Right,
Get into
right.
this. And of course, as a very popular high school child, I was of course making Star Wars fan films with my friends, because as you can tell. Anyway, that's what true friends do
Yes.
with each other. Um,
That's why we're so good at graphic design stuff.
yes, lots of
I
inside.
spent a lot of inside, time.
Well, I was going to say, you're from Chicago, so for winter.
Oh, plenty. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. We don't play with that outside stuff. Although I will admit, I was born in St. Paul, Minnesota, and in December, it was one of the coldest days in December in '89. So I feel like I came out the womb in the cold. I feel like I could take it a little bit better than other people, but I really think so.
Born in the icy fields of Minnesota.
Oh, came out the baby.
Well, while you're getting that blink together, I'll have a peruse of the chat here.
Okay.
And Voodoo Val's asking, like, what are you keeping in mind when you begin a project like this? When you were shooting things, did you know you were going to be doing this kind of blinking stuff? Like, was this always planned to be the first shots of the piece, basically?
That's a great question. Honestly, no. I think sometimes certain things come up. I mean, this maybe was like something in my mind, but I don't think it was exactly like this, because when I get in the space, something happens where I may be like sitting somewhere and I'm like, oh, it would be cool if this happened. So I may add it in. I definitely don't think this was in the presentation that I sent to them. But when I am making these things, I am considering in the moment, like, how can I like make people feel like where I'm at almost. And that sometimes can only happen like when I'm there. So this blink right now is looking pretty good because I've got 2 of them placed. I'm going to start them off in a certain position. So it looks like my eyes are closed. Bring this back down, and I'm going to scale it up. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Okay. Now, you'll notice that, there was some blinks there because it moves up and down like that. So I figured that I would do some position movement here. Bam, bam. And I think I might just do the other one after. But okay, so I might bring the opacity down just so I could kind of see what's going on in the background, because I have no idea what's happening right now. So I'm waking up and I want to blink a little bit. I think maybe I blinked. Look that way. I think I just did a blink that not that long, but I'm going to delete this one and shorten these blinks. Ooh. Get them down to where that frame ends. Okay, so now let's start with this top one. Or no, bottom one here. This is my brain working at 20%. I'm like, okay, so we start off here, and I want to make sure that I've got this toggle animation. I also want to see it here too. Yeah, let's check that out. You can see that I've placed a little blue guy there, the keyframe. little blue guy. Okay, so we're going to start there, and then I want to blink up. Let's see if we can take it up a little bit. And then maybe bring it back down. Maybe I'm closing my eye back. But then I want to open it a little bit quicker back up. All right, let's see if this works a little better. Play that back. Ooh, that's pretty fast. That's a fast one.
Very quick.
I think I didn't realize how much the blink actually lasts there. So I'm just gonna lengthen out that frame again. And then I'm also gonna see if I can pull these two. Oh, I don't know how to do this. Let's see. Are these gonna work? No. Let's just do this. Drag it here. Drag it there. Now you'll see that we had these guys here. I'm just gonna drag this there. Spread them out so I don't have to go back in and play with them too much. So let's see if that's a little slower. Oh, it's better. And then I'm just going to do the other blink too. And I could play with the length and the time after. You know what I could do is I could just copy these. Actually, no, I can't. Let's not do that. Don't copy those because they're not the same. So I'm going to toggle
both the eyelids are going up. And
I know. I'm always trying to do like, I like working smart, not hard. So I'm always trying to figure out the back way to do something. But the back way is always like, someone later's like, that's not the way you do it. I'm like, oh, oops.
Well, I would argue that the way it gets done is the way you do it. I don't know.
You know? You feel me? Okay,
I think an over dependence on rules and formula will only entrap you into reading long books. But
I am self-taught in a lot of things. I mean, I did go to college for graphic design, but I dropped out after a while because I just could not sit in a classroom for some reason. I was like dying to get outside, just dying. But I'm going back to school.
Get out there and do the stuff. Yeah, because you are going. I've been seeing what you're up to on social media. You're going back to school for. Is it cognitive psychology?
Oh, yeah. So I want to do psychology. I love psychology. I love what I want to do is study some theories and some things about how social media can affect people in positive ways and in negative ways, and how we can organize our experience on the internet in a healthy way. And I feel like I've been using myself as a guinea pig in the last couple of years to study a bunch of different things, and reading a ton of books. I'm a big book reader as well. So I'm always just trying to, learn something, study something, and help people most importantly. And I feel like that is the next step. Although now that I'm finishing my bachelor's and my master's is next, I'm just having all these like different thoughts about like, oh, maybe I could, go to school for science and technology or something, because, that's what I work in. But yeah, I don't know. It's definitely, I feel like the world is my oyster, like they say.
Well, I was gonna say the intersection of society and technology and art. It's a confluence of art, commerce, technology, humans. It's never been a more vibrant, tumultuous space.
Yes.
May we continue to live in interesting times.
Absolutely. May we continue to. I mean, everything is just, we're all learning, every day. And I feel like that's the biggest key that I take away from anything that I learn is like, no one knows what's going on. We're just sharing our knowledge of not knowing anything.
Yeah.
You know?
What I can tell, people have a lot of information, but perhaps low knowledge out there.
Tons of information. I mean, the more I think, I say I fail myself or fail forward more than anything, So, I'm definitely excited to keep that school going. It's been years though. It's been since like 2016. So. We'll see how it goes.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I think I've got some blinks here, but they're like probably too short and I need to lengthen them out, but we're going to play it back a little bit. See, yeah, it's because this clip is so short. We need a long clip in there. We're going to pull these two. Now I'm going to do that little trick again where I just kind of pull these jokers all the way back. Call these the jokers now, aka keyframes. Okay, and I'll do the same for this one down here. I feel like there was an extra third one in there. I don't know where that came from, or a fifth one on this one. Like who is this? That's all right. I guess we'll find out when we hit play and it goes everywhere.
Kind of irregular blinking this person has. They may.
Wow, this blinking is pretty serious, but you get the gist, I hope.
Disorienting feeling. Maybe you're waking up a little bit groggy.
Honestly, they be feeding you drinks, so
you've been enjoying the VIP
woke up. Yeah, definitely woke up feeling good, but maybe not the best. That's pretty serious right there. I also, so what I did with that black matte layer is I made a feathering on it. That's kind of where you see that feathering part. And I think what's happening here is the mask is going, that's what's happening. The mask is going over the part where the matte ends. So I'm just gonna bring it down a little bit because you can kind of see the like harsh edge there a little bit. So I'm just gonna bring this down. Doesn't look as obvious what's going on. Ooh. Okay, let's see. Oh gosh, yeah, this took a lot of time and due diligence, but we're not going to waste time on that right now.
Hey, I've taken us down this rabbit hole. I apologize.
Yeah, no, it's okay. This is fine. I mean, normally before I go into the editing process, I will just cut all the frames together and just make sure that I have like the storyline, because I think sometimes when there is some like I mean, maybe to some people it may not look average, but like some scenes to me are very average and like they're very like normal, and I feel like I have to just add some kind of magic to it by playing with the perspective. And so this, I think, was one of those moments where I don't know if I thought about the blinking in the moment of sitting there shooting, because I feel like I had to have shot it like that. But even sitting like behind the computer editing the frames, I'd probably be like, oh, this needs like something else. So the blinking was that something else. Now, is it like the best blink in the world? I don't know, but we'll grow from it.
Where should we go? Should we do
failing forward?
Yeah, should we get a line edit down? What's kind of the first step when you tackle something like this?
So I mean, I want to just make sure that I've got all like the frames kind of cut up. I don't know if there's like an easier way. See, this is like very bit crazy that I would show my face like this on a live, but we're brave these days. But yeah, so these types of situations, I would just want to make sure that the storyline makes sense, that everything's being cut together in a way that there's like basic B-roll, and then there's like messaging, and then there's like fun. And so I just want to have like a good balance of keeping attention of the viewer. And the cutting up here, the first kind of cutting up of these frames is really the most important part, is making sure that also that like if you are experiencing this situation, that I guess I don't know how to explain this, but some of the frames to me match each other, even though they may be like 5 minutes later or 10 minutes later. And that's something to me that I think is really important about storytelling, is not just skipping ahead without like tying it together a little bit. So everything in every scene has an aspect that's like tied together a little bit.
Yeah, I guess you'd want someone, you want the experience to flow, right? Like we're naturally moving.
Flow is important. Flow is extremely important. Now this is another frame that I shot by myself. I remember I was in the bathroom and I shot it, but I remember this part, I hit it in a certain way that I didn't like, and I picked it up like when it wasn't perfectly on the circle there. So I remember I put it back. Yes, I did. And I did it again because I was like, no, it needs to be perfect. Yeah, that's as good as it's probably gonna get. But what I also like to do, so when I cut these frames, I don't like to start with my hand off the frame. I like to start with my hand like a little bit on, so that there's some motion happening, like right when you get to the scene, like there's always something else happening. Like, so you can see that my hand is moving on my face here, but it's also moving back here to grab this glass, to pick it up. And the glass and the hand will probably still be there a little bit when I cut this. I'll do a quick ripple delete. And let's grab, yeah, I think I brushed my teeth maybe after that. I'm out here living life in a hotel.
Sharing a lot of intimate details here. I don't know.
I know. And this was like this also why this project was pretty crazy, because when they hit me up, and I think someone actually asked this earlier on, and I don't think I answered it properly, but it is a not so much a day in the life of me, but a day in the life of someone who would go to the hotel. And I, as someone who is a influencer, but an OG influencer, I like to say, because it's not the new way of influencing. It was like, I really want to do something that has like a marketing aspect to it. And I want to make an agency proud to show it to their boss in like a meeting, because I know what that other end looks like. This, to me, I wanted to be like a commercial. And when I first started, like I was saying, when I first started doing the marketing stuff, I didn't have my face in it at all. I wanted to do like a lot of like magazine, surreal type of marketing, like advertising that I would see like when I would go to school at Columbia College in Chicago, like the art school. And I don't know, I just didn't envision seeing myself in front of the camera so much. And when I first started doing that, I felt like the door was open for me to tell the story so much more, because I just wasn't limited to, I don't know, like my still imagery anymore. But it was definitely hard and very interesting for my audience to see, I guess, because sometimes a lot of them didn't know, I guess, that I was a woman, or they just didn't like seeing my face, or like, you're a sellout or something like that, or I don't know, people just don't like different. I've been on Instagram for 10 years, and it wasn't until 2014 that I started showing my face. And I gained maybe a quarter of my following before I showed my face. And so a lot of people were quite surprised and quite alarmed by the fact that I was doing advertising work or travel work or just dipping my toes in everything. But I wasn't worried about them because I'm really grateful that I gave myself all those opportunities to learn because I like doing everything.
I was gonna say, if we could, I know we don't want to make this too much about psychology, but what do you
Yeah, of
think? What
course.
do you think was causing their reaction? What would cause this kind of dissonance in the audience?
I think I don't know. I think people when I don't know. I really don't know. People feel like they have a right to your life when you grow in front of them for so long.
Hmm.
And some people don't like change. They don't like money or people with money. And so they connect the success to money, even though success for me wasn't until very recently in that realm of mind. But like success to me is very personal, you know, like my trials and tribulations. But for some people, success is like, you know, the ego driven money person. And, you know, so I think some people have a lot of different experiences and a lot of different like traumas with money as well. So yeah, influencer work is difficult, but it's also something that I try to make sure that I'm always being authentic and doing like the best type of work that I can do, because it's not just me being like, hey everybody, I'm grabbing a check. Like I'm thinking stuff through. I'm like trying to like challenge myself like big time. Every single time I take a new gig on, I am presenting an idea that I've never done before. Like I have it in my mind of what I want to do and I pitch it to them and they're like, okay, go for it. And I'm like, I need to learn how to do it now.
I
And
love.
that's like, I'm telling you, that's like 80% of the time, maybe 90. So, and it's the reason why I do anything. It's the reason why I know anything. So, you know, I'll continue to do that. And I can't stifle myself by other people's fears or their, you know, experiences and stuff. Cause I just have to prove to them and prove to myself that it's different.
Yeah, and you know what? Looks like Voodoo Val in the chat. Yeah, she's been streaming for 7 years. Very sympathetic, very empathetic to those things. You said something very
Thank
interesting when
you.
you grow in public, they feel like they have ownership of that. It's a
Yes,
very interesting thing to say. And
absolutely. It's
because
true.
when you've seen the long arc of it, right? You've been in this so long, you perhaps have more insight than people who are just getting their first dose of maybe a negative reaction or their first public criticism. I would love, I'm sure a lot of people watching this are very aspirational to also
Hmm.
be creative professionals. What would you say to those people who are maybe getting into it just today?
Oof. I mean, I had to grow so much in the way that I would react versus respond to certain things. And I say react versus respond because reacting was like very emotionally based, very fear based, very like doubt based. But my responses now are like empathetic, understanding, patient, because now instead of when someone says something negative to me, I don't take offense to it. I don't take it personally at all. I just know that it's something that they're dealing with personally, something they've experienced, some kind of perspective that they're not understanding of mine. Because I know I'm a good person and I know I mean well and I do my best for everybody that I can. And I wish them well. But the old me was like, I would be like, you know, I would respond to people, be like, you don't know me, you don't know anything, you know, just really sticking up for myself. And that's fine. And I'm glad I did that for myself and I grew to that. But like now I just don't see any purpose behind it because it takes up a lot of my energy. I mean, if I get into like any kind of internet spat, I'm like locked into my phone, like sweating, like, you know, I don't know, really into it. And I just decide that I don't want my energy to be spent on that anymore. So I just pick and choose my battles. But um also some feedback is good to listen to. Sometimes you gotta humble yourself. And
Sometimes there's
really
truth in,
listen.
in the noise, I suppose.
Sometimes there is. Sometimes there is. I mean, there's sometimes, especially like I know, like there was some projects that I had where like a brand would be like, "Hey, you gotta post five, you gotta post 5 times and in a couple weeks," and that is like a lot, right? And so people are gonna be like, "When is this over? Oh, your feed is all ads now, blah blah," because even though you've been posting for like 10 years or there's 3,000 posts there, all of a sudden 5 posts in a matter of a couple weeks, it just like terrifies people or changes their perspective on you. So that sometimes can be a really difficult thing because I know that that's hard for people to see. I know that that's not what people want to see from me when they're following me, but like I have to gain sustenance to stay alive, to post
Yeah,
all the other art.
true.
And they're
Truth there.
not buying my prints, they're not doing anything, so I don't know what they want from me. It's like I see who buys my stuff. People be like, "Oh, I'm going to support you," as if I don't have like all the emails from people who do buy them.
Mm. It's true. We must survive in some capacity. So,
Yeah, and I have fun doing it. I love doing it. I enjoy pushing the envelope forward every time, and I hope that, and I know that other people over the years have seen me do that, and I know that it's inspired them to try new stuff themselves. Like that, if I could do that, that's everything to me. Everything, absolutely everything.
awesome. Well, hey, thanks for indulging me on that journey. But hey,
Yeah.
let us return. I hope those words help people out there. And yeah, let us direct our energies. Let's keep this thing going.
Of
It's
course. I'm
because
trying
I
to figure out
know,
what's the next clip.
yeah, I know we've only got
Oh, it's
about
this one.
another hour or so hanging out with y'all out there. But if you're watching this, thank you so much. Let us know where you are, what you're doing. Bring us your quandaries as you observe the process. We are back again tomorrow. But
Yes.
if you are watching this on YouTube, this is my quarterly reminder to come and hang out with us here on behance.net/Adobe Live. We want to see you over here. We want to have you with us so you can enjoy these nuggets of wisdom, these tasty nugs. Get them. So let's let's
Tasty nugs. I love it.
listen. I don't share too much about my life, but let's continue your journey here. So we've woken up, we've had a shower, brushed the teeth, getting
Yes.
dry.
And now we're going to do some magic. Now, let me find my next frame because, okay, so I'll run you through what's going on here. So let me just make sure we're rotated correctly. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Okay, so you'll notice I'm holding something in my hand here.
Mm-hmm.
That is, I don't know what it's called, to be honest with you, but it's like some kind of external frame, like a viewfinder or something, some kind of thing. It's the word is leaving me at this moment, but it is a picture viewer of the camera screen of what you're shooting, of your frame. Okay, and also what it does is you can screenshot one of the frames from the last video and use it as an overlay. So what I had an idea was to magically change my outfit from when I got out of the shower to when I'm ready.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to match my face and match all the movements. So I think, let's see if we cut it here. And I shrug and I'm boom. And I think I stayed there for a little bit. Yeah, I did. Let's ripple delete that. Okay, so I had my frame matched. You can see me shooting myself. It's so funny. That eye is like all the way over there. That's impressive. Okay, so I've got myself matched up. I'm ready to go. Still matching, still using. It's very confusing to see yourself flip the other way. I'll tell you that.
Well, I was going to say, has the experience of seeing yourself and hearing yourself on camera changed the way you think about yourself at all?
Oh, no, not really. I think I'm really great in front of the camera now. Because when I do a lot of like in camera shoots with other people, I am one of the first people to get my scenes done. So because I think it's from the perspective of like the camera person. I know how to like stand and know how to get timing. I know how to do a lot of stuff because I've shot myself doing it. So it's great practice.
I
It's
find
really,
after I've been on camera, I suddenly become very interested in trimming my eyebrows.
yeah.
I got crazy eyebrows. You can't tell because I fixed them right before. Um,
I,
so
I just did mine yesterday, honestly, for the first time in like a year. There's like a eyebrow place downstairs, and I was like, "Hi," and it just hurts so bad because I haven't done it in so long. But I'm right there with you. They can get crazy. They can get a little wild. Good on you to take care of them.
thank you. I try to take care of myself this year, at least in the last month. So it's been 11 months of not doing that, and then 1 month of yes doing
No.
that. So
Yes,
so
we're back on track.
this little like field recorder or field monitor system,
Mhm.
I really like that. That's a great little hack
Isn't
to make
it?
this. Like this frame matching is hard. It's hard,
Oh,
but
there
that
needs to be an easier way. I don't know why they don't have it built into the cameras. Because I mean, I've got a Canon R5 mirrorless I just bought like a couple months ago, and it doesn't have that in there. And I feel like that's like something that is like it just makes sense. Like if you've got a flip screen and you have the opportunity to flip it back and you can see what you're recording. Yeah, I don't know. I looked it up everywhere. If anybody has or knows, ooh,
let us know. Get at us in the chat.
let me
Your camera
know.
recommendations.
Yes. Okay, let's see. Oh, yes. Okay, so what happened with that is I wanted to make sure I'm moving because it looks like there's a good pause there. It's kind of awkward a little bit. And let's see if that works a little better. Oh, maybe it does. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah. See, she's a little different. I think the background looked a little different. And I think I had to recolor this frame because this is what happened was. So what I'm actually going to do is and I'll show you guys this since time is of the essence. Is it the creative? No, I think it's color wheels and match. Let me move this comparison view. Where's that at? Oh, let's go here. I just want to match. Looks like this frame is a little bit brighter or a little bit more warm than that one. So I wonder if I could do.
Oh, Mike in the chat is bragging that his camera has this feature. Mike, don't tease us like that.
What
Tell
is
us
the camera? Tell me.
How dare you? It's such a tease.
I bet it is. Okay, let's see if that's the match. Okay, so we've got our comparison view. Now this reference on the left here is the video or the clip that I would like to reference to apply a color match to the current frame on the right. So I'm just gonna see if it changes it a little bit. Oh, it looks a little bit more green, but I feel like it looks maybe
So breaking update. Mike's talking about the Sony F7 FS7, which is a beefy. It's a chunky boy. It's a big, usually shoulder mounted device. It's a big one.
Wow, my goodness. Well, I would hope that the big guy would.
Mike's not playing around. He's
not playing around at all. Okay, so get the gist on the fun view here. Now I've been hanging out. Oh, cut this frame here. I'm shrugging because I'm interested on how the magic works. Interesting. And boom. I'm magically changed. Okay, so now we're gonna head on to breakfast. Where was I? Where did I? Oh, right here. Here we go. Headed on to breakfast. And I say words like really weird every time I say them. So, like I the other night, I went out to dinner with my boyfriend, and we were talking about like getting a table outside or inside, and we wanted a table outside, and I called it a table. A table outside.
Uno table, por favor.
Uno table, por favor.
And
That's the life with me, I swear. Like everything has a nickname.
I was gonna say, did you find the service improved with this strategy?
It went downhill quickly.
It depends, if the wait staff are there to play, it'll be good.
It really depends. It really does. All right, so this is my other trick. I have no idea why I did this, but I thought it was funny. Oh, this is, wow, that two times 180. That doesn't make sense to me. Okay. So for some reason, I felt like it would be interesting to swipe my food away, but it was not the best idea. It was very difficult, actually. And I ended up just masking the plate somehow. Now my boyfriend's helping me in the back there. You could tell his hand is there because at this point I was frustrated with my concept. None of it was working. So this is, let's see. We'll delete there. I'm just gonna cut that frame. How many times did I do that? Oh, I did it a couple times. Yeah, this took a while. I don't know what I was trying to do with this clip, but it wasn't the outcome that we got. Because I do this thing with like the T here where I wanted it to disappear, and it could not work out. So got my plate cleared here. I have no idea how I accomplished this, but we're gonna do it together. I think
a little bit of practical magic for everybody's after.
Yeah. So I think I did. Let's just, for the sake of fun, let's just pretend that it may have been down here. I matched it. Now this is a messy mask, but it doesn't matter. No one can see on that side except for us. Oh, see? Okay. Yeah, there's something that happens here that I don't know what, but we're gonna figure it out.
Yeah, I'm always curious about people who do visual effects and this kind of thing in Premiere, because I do most of the stuff in After Effects where there's like a lot more maybe nuanced and finicky kind of masking, selecting, tools for isolating and stuff. So I think this is really good for people who primarily live in Premiere, right? I think a lot of editors live in Premiere, and I don't know. It's a side of things like, look, if you don't have to get into After Effects, save yourself the trouble. Do it all in here.
Honestly, there's been so many times where I've been in Premiere Pro, where I just keep like searching like on Google, like how to do this, how to do that, who to do this. And it keeps giving me After Effect tutorials, so I feel like Premiere and After Effects are so buddy that people are like, yeah, if it's not we're there, if it's not the easiest there, let's do it in there. But
yeah,
for me, I have no idea how After Effects works, so I'm consistently just like trying to figure out how to make it possible in Premiere, which sometimes can make things really confusing, but at the same time, I feel like I really like figure some things out in a very fun way.
Hmm. Well, hey, if you ever any quandaries about After Effects, get at me. You've got my details. I want to say hello to Jermaine Robinson jumping in. He was transported here from an ad. They're watching you change colors.
Oh yeah,
And then you transported right here. So
that's it.
that's just like we were talking about
Exactly.
at the beginning. That's how the magic works.
Exactly.
They're here for the
Exactly.
magic show. We thank you for coming in. We
Oh my
got
God, I'm so glad you're here.
yeah, we're here for what? We're here for another 40 minutes or so. So let's
Oh,
yeah, keep it going. Enjoy the show.
I'm so glad. Okay, this is not working the way I thought it would, but I think what needs to happen is I need to mask it somehow. You guys see how I did this? Oh, where did it go? We're gonna open it back up. Right here. I do something here where I make it disappear. Oh, I could see my shirt changing a little bit. Something happened over there. Okay, we're gonna make it work. Oh, it like moves a little bit actually.
Mm.
Hmm.
I think it's really interesting. Like, I think maybe some people don't realize you do have to do quite a number of takes sometimes to get like the right hand motion, the right hand speed. How many? I know we just clipped a bunch of the thing away, but how much hand waving did you end up doing that day?
Oh man, this is like 30 minutes of hand waving and but this is after a concept that I really wanted to accomplish, but I just like didn't have the editing tools or I mean I had the tools, but I just didn't have like the knowledge, I don't think, to do it. I was very oh, you know what? I think it's like in my shoulder up here, something. Yeah, I really had this great idea, but I couldn't do it. So I kept doing the idea until I was just like, whatever, just do this one and it's gonna have to work.
Let's see.
I
Just
don't
gonna
know
have a pop over into the chat here. We've got Logan's asking, do you ever use preset assets or LUTs? Those wonderful lookup.
I do. I use LUTs all the time. I really like using LUTs. I actually have got like a bunch
I was gonna say,
in
do you have a
here. Yeah, look at like
favorite or
got
a
all the
signature look that you go for?
yeah, I've got one in here. It's like this CL Crowley thing or Kellyeth. This one here. Let me see. File new. Oh, I need to unclick in this project. File new. Adjustment. Oop. New offline file. New adjustment layer. This one is like one of my faves. CL. I think it's this one. No, it's not that one. That looks crazy. It's not that one. It's something over here, but I have like a lot. Obviously, I have a lot of them that I like to play with. But yeah, it's nice to work with the LUTs. Guys, I have no idea
Save
how I
folks
did
a lot of
this.
time. Get them that polished look that Instagram filtered look they're looking for.
Exactly. Okay, so I'm gonna show you how I did this in this other thing because me do not know how to do this. I'm very confused. Okay, so here I've got my frames. It looks like these don't change at all. Oh, okay, so there's like an opacity change on the bottom video. And it looks like, let's drag this up a little bit so we can see what we're doing. It looks like the plate changes opacity from 0 up, but the bottom one stays.
So you're fading on the empty plate over top
Yeah.
of the plate. There we go.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem that complicated. I think what's happening is I'm probably cutting from a certain area of it, because you can see like the plate is moving a little bit, which I think is why I'm having trouble. I think I'm maybe clipping from a different one, but yeah, it's fairly simpler here. It does seem like I don't do any masks though. Not seeing any masks here, which I'm surprised by. Let's see. Oh yeah, there's a mask right here. Okay, there we go. That's what I was looking for. I wanted to see where I was cutting, because that's definitely what I'm curious about. Okay. So it looks like my hand in the other frame actually matches with that empty plate. So I'm surprised that worked out. So that's how that happened.
Very exact acting.
Yeah, very exact acting for sure. I seem to have done the exact same wave, and you can't tell that my fingers aren't actually at the same hand. Well, that's cool. Okay, so this actually, I'm gonna go back to my next frame because this is actually my favorite part. So the food plate, not that exciting, that's whatever. But this was actually one of my favorite parts, because when we were exploring the city, there were a bunch of really amazing art all over the place, and I just kept thinking, how can I showcase this really amazing art around the city in an interesting way? So just kind of match each movement. So what I had to do was walk the exact same way in front of each location, and I had to also make sure that the camera was set up on the tripod the exact same distance so that my body would be the same size in the next frame. So I'm just gonna, I don't need this entire frame, but I'm just gonna show you the whole thing for now.
Mike says he prefers to make the food disappear by eating it. I'm with you, Mike.
I definitely ate it spiritually.
You just absorb it.
I absorbed it through my palm.
And Logan's back with another question. He's saying, what are your favorite sound and visual asset sites, excluding, of course, Adobe Stock, where we must all go. But
yeah.
Do you have any others? We can talk about some of the lower stock asset sites, I suppose. I will say though, before
go for it.
I was going to say the good people at Adobe Stock. If you want to have like a tasting menu, a soupçon of what's available over there, please click the little free tab in Adobe Stock. There is a lot of great assets. If you're a student, if you're starting out, check them out. You're gonna love them. The Stock team have made a lot of assets available for free. One of the things that I really like about that is sometimes it'll be like one of a series is like for free, and we're like, well, I'll show the client this one, and if we get approved, we'll use some more from the series and we'll just enjoy that. But there's really seamless integration between Premiere and Adobe Stock, such that you could even present an entire line edit to a client if they approve, license, and you'd be all good. But anyway, my shameless talk of Adobe Stock over.
So true.
What people enjoy? Maybe, I don't know. What are your favorites?
It's so true. I'm definitely a big fan of going into the essential sound panel and checking out, browsing through all the different moods. The nice part is that I believe Adobe Stock has a partnership with Epidemic Sound, and that's where I find all of my sounds, and my sound effects. So Adobe Stock is king.
And I've noticed, because you don't use a lot of like stock B-roll. You're out there in the real place. You're really taking the stuff. And Reverb Mike is saying in the chat, make use of your camera, even if it's your phone, to get the B-roll you need. Do you have any?
Yes.
I don't know, any advice for people who maybe are out there and maybe they're not getting the kind of coverage when they come back into the edit? Like, I find that's usually when people start leaning on stock assets. But is there
Yeah.
anything like, I guess a lot of your art, if I could preface this, has a lot to do with urban areas, a lot of sense of place.
Right.
What do you look for to grab, or what stands out to you about a place that you want to capture, I guess?
I guess like symmetry is really nice.
Hmm.
Maybe even asymmetry. I love when there's like a foreground or like a background or something to kind of like give perspective. Big fan of perspective. Um, nope, not a lot of people. I like it when it's empty. Um, I do a lot of drone stuff. I do a lot of helicopter stuff as well. Even though I'm terrified of heights, horribly terrified. Yeah, I guess B-roll too is I'm very quick about that as well. I just like kind of move through the experience of what I'm trying to communicate, and I'll just like capture it really quickly, like in like 4 or 5 seconds.
Mhm.
I don't like very long B-roll at all. Like I don't like scrubbing through like a minute of like I don't know what I'm waiting for. If I could wait for that moment and then I press record,
Hmm.
and then I've got it. But I probably won't have like a whole long piece of footage just to have b-roll of a certain location just in case there's like something special in it. I just like shoot it and I get it and I'm out. But I think that has a lot to do with the fact that learning how to shoot in Chicago or in New York or certain places, the police or I don't know, certain like locations will get really upset with you where you're shooting. And
Hmm.
so we've learned to just get in and get out as quick as possible so that we don't have any issues. So yeah, I'm like a quick shooter probably that way so that I don't bug anybody and I just uh get what I need to get.
Well, yeah. Tell me a bit about these shots, because you were saying you have to walk the same way past them. Like, how close is the camera physically? Are you across the street? What is the setup for these?
This is actually I it is probably across the street. And I definitely have to wait for people not to be in the way. I definitely have to um I'll probably wait for this frame to be the last because it's confusing. Definitely have to, yeah, wait for no cars or um just any variable. I mean, there's just so many variables that you have to figure out when you're there. Not even just that. I mean, when I was doing this as well, I had to think about like I had to text the person from Marriott to be like, hey, can I shoot this? Because sometimes brands will be like, oh, you can't put that in there because of like rights, like artist rights or something like that. But I think because this is like art in the street or something, they were just like, oh, it's fine, it's travel, blah blah blah. So yeah, those are just some things I consider when I'm out there.
Hmm. I think one of the, trying to remember now. Don't quote me. I'm not a legal scholar, but I've taken zero legal course. But I believe that it is, if one can reasonably assume that such a thing would be observed in public, you should be fine to film it. That's kind
Right.
of the one of the hallmarks of things, or at least something that my more activist friends yell when people get at them about filming things.
Right. Yeah. Filming is tough. I mean, I've definitely I remember when I first started shooting photos in Chicago, like in early 2012, 2013. I shot a photo of like some tags or something on some building, and this guy was like, you need to tag me in this, those are my tags, and he was like threatening me and stuff like that about it. I ended up just deleting it, so I'm like, I'm not trying to have no trouble with nobody, but it's just very like I'm very like iffy about that stuff.
I
Don't
think,
want no trouble,
yeah,
please.
no trubs, please. That's very
No.
interesting that
Yeah.
that someone would how do you prove ownership of that? I'm like, now wait a minute, sir.
You,
Sir,
yeah,
is this stolen valor for this other tagger? Excuse me.
I know it's pretty serious. I
Mhm.
just don't. People get very protective of their art, so I'm like, I don't want nothing to do with it. But it's why I don't like. I mean, I really don't shoot photos of other people besides myself. I'm my greatest model, so I get to sign off on all my releases, and I don't get mad when anyone shoots a different angle because I'm the one shooting the angle, you know. So, yeah, it's
The
I like
most
to keep it
cooperative
safe.
model.
Yeah. So what's happening right now, you'll see me like switching between all these different frames is because I when I was like walking around these different areas, I had to walk the exact same way in each location. Now, of course, there's only so many ways that I could walk or do it so many times. I probably walked in front of each of these locations like 10 times probably just to like get the timing right so that when I matched it with the next location, my body would match a lot better. And you'll see I keep going back and forth here that I could tell that my arms are kind of the same a little bit, which I think is good timing. I would switch back and forth between this frame and the other two because when I walk in this part here, my arm doesn't go up as high as it does in these beginning frames. So I would just gonna put it in the back instead to maybe finish the clip because maybe hopefully matches a little bit clearer on this next one. So ripple delete. I hope that made sense.
Hmm. Well, I know that this is probably a trick that a lot of people feel like, how do we pull this off? You know, where do we choose to cut? Should I be cutting on the step? Should I be cutting on the up? In in animation, we describe kind of like these 8 poses if we were to try to animate like a character doing this. So,
Right.
um, yeah, like are there some that are just naturally easier to do? Do some of it line up with music? What is your if you had to
Uh
do the ideal version, what would you look for people trying it out for the first time?
well, I'm pretty interesting. I don't edit to the music until I'm done like cutting the frames to the storyline,
Hmm.
but I would definitely match it to music at some point. Right now though, I'm just matching it for like the best that it looks in like the next clip, I guess, because some of the frames just look a little bit more matched up with the other frames than others. Like say for instance, this one like looks pretty spot on. Except for maybe the legs, that's all right. We can learn to live. But yeah, I think I just want to make sure that at least the creative side is there, and then later I'll play with speed. So like for instance, if I have like music here and the music kind of like sets up before this actual clip comes up, I'll probably cut this and then speed it up, I don't know, like a little bit. Oh, that's slower. I don't know, something, and then it would match that and it would still just be there a little bit and you wouldn't be able to tell that it was going quicker because it's just the way it would work when I did it. But yeah, that's how I would probably make it work later after I match them up. But right now I'm seeing that this clip here is probably a little bit more.
Also getting a lot of love for your style in here. People are loving the outfit.
Nice, thanks. Yeah, I went to H&M before this to make sure I got my fits right. Always make sure I'm looking snazzy. I say spend money. You gotta spend money to make money, I guess.
Not me. I go to the thrift store.
Honestly, that's the mood right there because I need to get it together. Okay, so now I've got this comparison view going on here, and I'm just gonna kind of match myself. Seems like this is probably a little crooked. Yeah, see? That's nice. It's not going to be perfect, but maybe I can bring that over a little bit.
Yeah, so because you're filming in kind of a much larger frame than you end up using, like are you trying to purposely be more generous in your framing on set? Like it's interesting to, are you filming with the camera tipped on its side? How are you capturing your frames on the day?
Yeah, it is definitely flipped on the side. I am shooting whole vertical when I'm shooting for 4x5, especially if I know that it's going to be on social. I'm shooting vertical. But if I know that they're going to be sharing it like on Facebook or like YouTube, definitely gotta shoot horizontal. But I've got like a L bracket of some sort, I think that's what it's called, where I kind of set it up with the camera, place it on the tripod, and then it's set. But as you could tell, I'm like rotating it negative 90 degrees, and I think if I set it up a certain way, I think I'd only have to do 90. So I think I had it upside down, but I'm not sure. But yeah, this is like as good as I'm gonna get it matched. Like you could see I'm switching back and forth here. These are like, so that's good. Boop, boop. Oh, wow. 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 That's like almost better than I had it in the. Let me tell you something. What's funny about a lot of my videos, and probably a majority of them. I don't know where that video went, but I always have like a little bit of mistake that I probably can only catch. And when I have the opportunity for another project, I like just throw in a little piece of it so I could just make up for it. But when I look back at this, I feel like this one was not done as well, and I feel like I'm making up for it right now. It like doesn't match there as perfect as I would like it to, this part right here, and I've been thinking about it forever, and it matches up perfectly right here.
That's right here on Adobe
Oh
Live.
my god, it's so good. It looks
We get-
so good.
We get to come back and redo all of our oopsies. We get to control
Oh
see our
my
lives,
god.
fix them over again.
This feels nice.
It does. It comes together really nicely. And so, again, I've got to ask, just like with the food,
Of course.
how many times were you walking across in front of the camera? What do you think?
Probably like 10, 15 times. Just to get the steps right, because it's kind of like it's like a dance, you know. You got to have like your timing right, you got to have your moves right, and when the camera hits record, you got to perform. And it's not the easiest when there's so many different variables, your mood. You've done it a couple different times, there's people in the way, there's cars passing, there's, I don't know, any kind of thing that you're thinking about, and maybe the step's not right, maybe the time's not good, but just got to keep going until you get that cut.
I want to disabuse people watching that it happens perfect the first time. It does not.
Yes.
Not usually.
Yes. Oh, wow. That's too good. Okay. So anyway, that's making me proud right there. I'll tell you that much. What did we do next? Okay. So let's go back here. My good old feed video just keeps disappearing on me. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. So, I like this part because this is where we go into this little bar area, and I had fun with this. Where am I at? Oh yeah, this little area here. So I'm always kind of previewing my clips as well, just dragging right over them so I can see if it's the right one. And it is. I prepped quite a bit for this live, and I didn't want to waste any time. And I'll be honest with you, I did cut a lot of these clips as well, because there's clips of me being like, are you recording? Are you what's going on? So stuff like that, that you are just happily not seeing.
Does it end up in a behind the scenes reel that people can enjoy?
Absolutely not.
That edited experience goes in the bin.
In the bin. It's still somewhere in the external, but it's gonna stay there for as long as it can. Maybe it'll go in the documentary one day. Going in the doc. Okay, I love I like when I'm in the camera shot. I like looking at the frame. Looking at the camera. I don't know why. It's like, hey, we're here together and we're walking around. And you know that we're about to go hang out and walk somewhere.
Seeing you here.
Fancy seeing you here walking with me. I like the good connection. What else we got? Oh, okay. So this is, I don't know if other people were here when I was talking about this, but how my boyfriend Trash Hand is really good at the B-roll shots. So this is one of his nice B-rolls where he's just looking up at the sky, you know, or at the ceiling, which I was very thankful for because it definitely it added to the mood of the room. So because this is right above me as I'm sitting down, you'll notice it. Okay, so I just kind of do a quick little B-roll of that. And I think later I probably slow it down or do something, but right now as I'm cutting these up, I'm just kind of writing my story kind of with a digital pencil. Placing this down. So now you'll see those things up there now that the shot is connected. Do my -90. Is this bigger than? No, okay, we're gonna keep that there. Maybe move this down. Boop. And I'm coming into the shot. Like I said before, I love when I'm in the frame so that the actual movement is still going.
I really like the continuity, right? You're walking from left to right, and then the camera right, and then here you're moving from left to right again. It's like,
you see,
we're going on. Oh, and you've color coordinated so well with the room.
I don't play around, okay, when it comes to matching things. No, that was a big accident. But there's been projects where I've done like a partnership with Simple Mobile I did where I wore like green. MasterCard I wore orange. There was something else like for Method Soap I did a project with them where they have rainbow products, so I was wearing like a rainbow outfit. I definitely like to make the brand proud.
It's true. Clients got to be one of the primary audiences, I suppose.
Yeah, of course. I think that's why I always get more work, because I think a little bit deeper about what the branding is like. I study the history of the brand. I study like their past advertising. I pull like all different types of inspiration from what's already there, because it's like one of the easiest things to do and the best things to do.
Always good to be prepared.
Yes, for sure. I'm not good at dragging these things over here, as you can tell. It's like not my forte. Okay, so we've got the storyline here. As you can tell, I've arrived, walking in, got my B-roll, sitting down, working on my laptop. We've got our drink being made. And now I'm waiting for my drink to come. Now you see me, I think I'm editing in Lightroom over there. I think that's what's happening. That's nice. And I'm also telling the waitress, or the bartender, okay, now you can give it to me. Thanks. She's like, okay. And this is like the 5th time she's giving it to me. Literally the 5th time.
It's a good thing the restaurant looks a little bit empty. Hopefully it's a good time to do a few takes.
Yes. Oh yeah, that's great. That's a good drink, not gonna lie.
What is it? What are you drinking there?
It's probably like some kind of mojito or something. It looks like a pomegranate mojito or something. Like, I don't know what it is. Oh, it's got lime in it now. It's probably something else. Whatever it is, it was good. Cheers to that. Okay, so apparently you can't um have yourself like drinking in certain advertising. So I guess I couldn't sip it, but you get the gist.
Well, that's interesting. I'm not familiar with all of the various advertising rules. So no actual drinking of the drink.
No actual drinking of the drink. No actual drinking of the drink.
We're gonna cut from making it, wrapping it, to then being a satisfied. Assume
Have you ever seen like an alcohol commercial, or wine commercial, or beer? I don't think you've ever seen them actually sip it.
That's actually that's pretty weird. I haven't thought about that before. It is just a bunch of people hanging out, cheersing, and talking about how relaxed they're about to be.
Yep. Yeah, they're not allowed to drink it apparently. I mean, I've done a couple. I've done like sponsorships for Poppic Wine, Patron, a bunch of other ones, and they're like, you cannot drink it on camera. I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, hey, I know. We're also. I mean, for those of us who are with us out here on East Coast time, we are coming into the end of it. It's like 4:50 over here, but
it is.
So
I told you, dude, this goes by too quick.
It does. But hey, we are going to be back tomorrow. So
yes, we are.
Maybe just a recap for the folks. What have we done so far today, and what are we going to be doing with them tomorrow? And
man,
Val's asking, were the employees? How does it work with employees? Were they chill? Were they good to help you out with stuff?
Honestly, yeah. I think we did a lot today. I mean, I would say that we blinked. We ate our food with our palm, and we matched some scenes with some graffiti, and I'm excited about tomorrow because I feel like we're going to get a little bit more in the nitty gritty of it, playing with sound, matching up the sounds a little bit more, playing with perspective of sound. And then also, instead of cutting a lot of these clips together, we're going to be just doing some surreal stuff to them, doing a little bit of surrealism, more than we've done today, because I know I've been kind of confused on a lot of these random ones, but that's only because it's normally my last step, and I am a routine-based person.
That's good. It brings structure to our day.
Yes,
structure of our day.
Absolutely.
Coming up after this, there is going to be final creative challenge of the day. So please stick around afterwards for that. If you want to believe it is we'll be doing some XD daily creative challenge with Jesse Showalter is coming up after this. But before we leave the good people, if they don't already know, Elise, where can people find more of your stuff around the internet? All your socials, where should people be looking?
Yes, the people can find me at Swopes, SWOPES, on Twitter, Instagram, swopes.info, online. Google me.
just Google.
I'm the only Elise Swopes in the world, so it works out that way.
Congratulations. It's fantastic.
Thanks.
I am one of, I think, hundreds of Evan Abramses in the world. I know this because I get their mail, but you can find this Evan Abrams at EC Abrams around. Don't look for the lawyer in New York. Do not look for the person who gives betting advice in Florida. This one, please. But yeah, like we said, tomorrow we're going to be going deeper. We're going to be getting more surreal. I'm excited. I can't wait. I want to thank everyone for hanging out with us in the chat. Our moderator, Voodoo Val, holding it down. Val is a fantastic person, an excellent artist.
Val always helps out. Val has been like the moderator for me tons of times, and she is like the best. So thank you again.
And of course, shout out to everybody. Umacorn, Ant, it's good. Reverb Mike hanging out. Everyone who's been with us this whole time. And like I said, our day starts at 9 Pacific time tomorrow. So get up early, have a challenge with us. Challenge yourself in the morning, and we'll see you around. But until next time, stay creative, be kind to each other. We'll see you around the internet.